All right, Pat, questions? Any questions? Yep, Aiden. Number 4, okay. Well, let's go see what number 4 is. Number 4. This one?
Actually, number 5.
Number 5. The parent function is going to be 1/3 of x, which is, that's a decay function, also known as 3 to the inverse of x, or 3 to the negative x. Transformation is going right 2, and then so it's going to be 3. So here it's this anchor point. We talk about anchor point all the time. Used to be it's going to be this way, 3 here and 9 here, but it's going to be here and here, and there's going to be an asymptote. There's an asymptote here. Domain is going to be -infinity to infinity. Range is going to be from 0 to infinity. Asymptote is at x equal to 0. No, y equal to 0, sorry. Yep. Next question. Yeah. 23, okay. 23, yeah, this is a perfect question to put on the test because this I have to talk about expansions. So it's two things subtract each other or divide each other, so subtract each other, right? Is that okay? And this is the power, and this is in the front. And that's gonna be fully expand. I follow order operation. But you gotta make sure it's negative, the whole thing in the back, on the back. And you have to distribute it negative because you get dividing by 2 and divided by the x at the same time. So that they are both are subtracting.
Streaming this?
I guess. But you should know this already. This is 2 days ago's homework. Yeah.
Maybe 27.
Sure. This one's only question that we didn't really test you. There's a question that to ask you, see if you understand what you're doing. So they say you have this, and you have this, right? That's 2 is giving. And you just want to convert that to that. So it will be log A. So 4 can change to what? 2, right? So it'll be log 2 plus log of 2 over log of, it should be subtracting, sorry. You should be dividing, so it'd be subtracting log A of 3. So that'll be 0.2789 plus 0.2789 minus 0.4421. I have no idea what that number is, but that's the number. If you write it to like this moment, that's fine. I can assume that you know how to adding and subtracting decimals, even though some people don't know how to do it. I should Decimal is my least favorite. My son asked me how to divide decimal once. I was like, shit, I don't remember how to do this. This kind of like, you have to like move around. But I always use fraction, so. Next question. Yes.
Number 2.
2. Okay, so 2, there's a 5. This is gonna go up 5. And that happened the last, actually. So let's move 5. Move 5 up. And this here, two things happen here. One is negative x, which is reflect across y-axis. Move to right, because that's 2. X minus 2 or 2 minus x, same thing. And then reflect across x-axis, because this is a negative sign here. So a lot of things happen here. I don't like to reflect across y-axis. That usually kind of hard for a student to think about it. So I probably won't test that, but move it across x-axis is pretty reasonable because of the negative sign over here. And the 5 is going to go up 5. Pretty good question. And this one, 5, just going to be a stretch of 5. First one should be pretty easy.
Number 14.
14. Log. Okay. So log, natural log of x, they are same graph. So I'm going to graph natural log of x here first. So it's generalized, it's always going to be like this. Always like this. Now, this is going to go up 2 and reflect. So this point is going to go up 2. And reflect across x-axis. But the asymptote is still in the same spot. So this is asymptote for the... So this is a log 3 of x. Transformation is up 2. And the reflect x-axis. Why? Because this is negative. Think about x squared. If you have negative x squared, it's going to be reflecting across x-axis. And it's moving up 2, and it's reflecting, so the asymptote is going to be this way. I don't know where it's going to be intersect y-axis, but it should be like this. So domain is going to be from 0 to infinity. Range is going to be negative infinity to infinity. Asymptote is x equal to 0.
How do you know how to reflect it on the x-axis instead of the y?
Because there's a negative sign in front of the parent function. Just like this. This is negative sign does too. I don't know what you want me to do. But you can graph it on the decimals. The main thing I want to see is the asymptote. Yes?
Why is it the parent function negative?
The parent function is not negative. It's never negative. Like parent functions like x squared, x cubed, 1 over x, they are parent function. A lot of people ask me what's parent function. Look at your notes. All the parent function we have explained and everything. Jay? The asymptote is always at x equal to 0 because you cannot log of 0. the for logarithm function or natural log function, they are same. Because for like e to the x, they have a horizontal asymptote at y equal to 0, because they are inverse to each other, so it'll be x equal to 0. Yeah, Brendan?
If it was like log 3 and then
Then that graph is gonna move right to, your asymptotes can also move right to. That's why when you graph on Desmos, you want to graph what the asymptote is to see if your asymptotes move correctly. Yes.
Explain how you graphed it again.
What?
Could you explain how you graphed it again?
I just move up to the anchor point is start right here and go up here and reflect across y-axis. Now that part I don't need to be accurate. You just have to have a same vertical asymptote, anchor points there, go into that point and reflect the graph the other way.
So is the asymptote always gonna move with the x-intercept, like how Brandon was saying, if it's like x minus 2, x plus 2?
Asymptote, if it's, let's say, in this case it did move, but it's a vertical asymptote. So if move up and down, it doesn't really matter. Now, if it's ln, just like what he said, if I have log 3 of x minus 2, then the asymptote is going to move right to, as opposed to anything. Because up and down vertical is not changing. Now remember, I can ask you natural log of x. That will be the graph I'm asking you. Because natural log of x is not log base 2.718. Log base 3 is pretty close. But I'd rather do natural log of x because that part doesn't really matter. Which kind of base are they? It doesn't really matter. The graph is going to be in general have two characteristics, anchor point and the asymptote. Next question. Yeah. 15. Now, what do you think? Where's the asymptote? Asher, I cannot hear you. Well, it was 0, but it has transformation. Bennett. -3, good. So your asymptote should go all the way here. And the point, it was right here, but it's moving left 3, so it's going to be like this. Boom, done. Parent function is going to be log 2 of x. Transformation is move left 3. And domain is going to be from, well, you look at the graph, the domain is going to be from -3 to infinity. Range is going to be -infinity to infinity. Asymptote is at x equal to -3. You guys always ask a graphing question. There are other questions on the test. Hopefully the compound interest formula is easy, but I can ask you the other way. I will ask you how many years to take it to double or triple, or how many years to become like a certain price. There's some question about half-life. You need to know how to do that one. Yes?
we should probably make sure to have a calculator when you test, yeah.
You don't have to have a calculator on this test because some of you guys don't have a calculator. So my evaluation, for example, for this one, you can say, long as you have 1500 and a 1 plus, I don't know, 0.08 divided by n4 to the 4 times 20. I mean, you should know how to use a calculator. But that's why I have you calculate. But how many of you guys still don't have calculator? Raise your hand. Only one? Mirana and Jay? Okay. Yes, I'm not gonna pick this up again, so you lose it. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna erase the name in the back. I'll ping it.
That's why we have one in the battery department.
Can you go to number 43? It's the carbon one.
43? Oh. Half-life. I like half-life. I think we went over this thing here. So it start with, so we have to assume something. So from actually they told you what to assume. Assume 10 gram. So A equal to PERT. Oops. T here. So A is equal to, this is the, it takes 5,720 year to have. So this one is going to be 5. This one is going to 10. E, it should be EKT, but that's fine. R to the T is how many years? 5,730 years. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Why is 8?
Because it takes we start with the sentence first because it has a half-life, because we don't know what happened 1,000 years, but we do know 5,730 years is going to be half.
So is half-life always gonna be 5, right?
No, that's not half-life. Half-life means it start with 10 gram, it end with 5 gram. It doesn't really matter what number you start with. You can start with 100 gram, end up with 50 gram. You can start with, I don't know, 6 gram, end up with 3 gram. If you see that calculation, it's going to be exactly the same because you divide it by 10 on both sides. This is always going to be 1/2. E to the 5,730 R, because we don't know how fast the rate is. It's actually supposed to be K, but it doesn't really matter. And then you got natural log of 1/2. Natural log of E is going to cancel out. And so that's going to be natural log of 1/2 equal to 5,730 R. And R is equal to natural log of half divided by 5,730. Now, you find the R. R is a rate because every half-life is at a different rate. So let's just say, I don't know. His mom probably know more than I do because I don't remember all the half-life is. I think plutonium has half-life of no idea, but sometimes like if you go take MRI, if you have a stroke or heart attack, or you guys not gonna have stroke, heart attack. I'm more likely to have heart attack than stroke because I'm older. What happened is they inject the isotope, a chemical isotope in the body. It's probably like a metal, some type of metal. It'll be like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of metal you can think. And then they inject it inside of you and they will start losing, it's going to become half-life. Those half-life usually tend to be smaller because they're metal. They don't want to metal become toxic inside your body. So it will probably have life for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 2 hours or something like that. So every 2 hours can reduce half. So even you start with 10 gram, after 24 hours, you are going to be half 12 times. So it's probably less than 1 gram left. So that'll be the thing. So now once you get this R, right, you can type in the calculator. Can somebody work out a calculated number for me? Natural log of half, 5,730. It's going to be a kind of small value. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start with 10. E, and then type in the value here. And then 1,000. And you're going to get that. How many percentage? It's going to be kind of make sense. So somebody work it out for me. What's the number here? Natural log of 0.5. Let me see the calculator. Natural log of 0.5. You can work it on decimal too. You can practice it. Divided by 5730. Oops. Ln of 0.5 divided by 5. You gotta be careful how you put divide here. I don't know why in scientific notation. I don't want a scientific notation. Okay, I'm gonna store as x. And then I think I should show you how to do it. Give me a second though. 10 e to the x times 1,000. So you'll be 8.861 gram. I'll show you how to do it in a second. I'm gonna go to Chrome. So how do I go to bookmark? How do I go to bookmark? A bookmark. There you go. So what happened is I'm gonna go to ln of half, right? Do you see that? Divided by 5,730. So obviously you got this weird number, and I'm gonna show you a trick. This is a very powerful tool. You can store this number to become x, because I don't like, I'm too lazy to type in that. I can store it as an x. So now your x is gonna be this, always. So if you store as x, you can use as x. Now what happened? You can do, you're gonna do 10, and you got second e to the 1,000x, because you want 1,000 year x, and then you're gonna be 8.86. So that is, see, it takes 5,730 years to half, right? But it takes 1,000 years only reduced by 1 gram, 1.1 something.
What did you say the store button was?
Right here.
How do you bring it?
Huh? How do you get rid of x? Just write the overlap, so you can say like 3 equal to x. So now x plus 2 is gonna be 5. You just write over it, doesn't matter. I mean, every question is gonna be different, right? If you can store a different x, then you can store a different x.
You can store other letters as well.
Yep. But usually x, you can store like 26 different values. Questions? This probably will be the hardest question. But basically you find out the R first, and then you plug it back in. Yes.
Can you go from 44?
44. The population city is 40 EKT. So there's EKT. See, they use K and T there. T equal to 0, of course, bound to 1990. In 1960, the population was find the value of K. So okay, so all right. The corresponding population give where T is in here. T equal to 0 correspond to 1990. Actually, I never tried this question. Let's try it. So if 1990 is gonna be T equal to 0, what's 1960? Negative 30. So so at that time, that value is equal to 140500 e to the what? Negative 30 times t. How do you find out what t is? Well, you're gonna do 1,00250 divided by 1,40500 equal to e to the negative 30t. How do I get rid of e? ln of this. Somebody work out this for me because I don't want to keep on write it down. But if you don't have calculator, you're gonna write it like this. And t is equal to ln of 100,250,140,500 divided by -30. You can write it like this. It's fine. What happened in 2010? What year is that? T is equal to what? 20. So be A is equal to P is start with 140,500 e to the what? 20, right? Times ln of 100,250 over 140,500 and divided by 30. Somebody work out this for me, please. I don't know what that number is. You guys need to learn how to work out calculator. I'm too lazy to type it now. Give me that. You should be typing it instead of just waiting for things to happen. I just feel like you're waiting for things to happen. I think a lot of you guys just waiting things to happen. I can do everything for you right now, but it's not gonna help you on the test. It's gonna be 0.011. Oh, it's actually a really nice number. And then I'm gonna type in the other one, 140,500 second e to the 20 times 0.011. It's gonna be A is equal to 175,073.781. Now you guys should try it at home. Don't just copy down what I have. You can copy down the answers. That's what you're supposed to do. Copy down the answer so you can try it on your own. See if you got it. Where's your calculator, Emerson? You don't deserve the Celsius.
That's so rude.
Speaking the truth. Next question. You guys should try it. Cover it up. Try it on your own. Write it out. Type using calculator. The word problem is going to be a problem for you guys. Yes.
Number 41.
Yeah, sure. 41. How long will it take to triple your investment? Compound continuous, PERT. Okay, so you have to know two formula, right? What is compound continuous?
PE to the power.
PE to the RT, right? PERT, right? And then what's compound? Like a monthly or daily is the other one. So this one's PERT. So triple, it doesn't define what's your original value. Long as your A, it's gonna be triple of P. So that just say you start with $1, right? And the other side is gonna be what? $3. E to the KT. And we already know K because that's a percentage, 0.0675 to the T. Now just have to solve for T. You know how to do that, right? Can you tell me what is it, Emily?
If there's no P value, do you just assume it's 1?
You can assume anything. It triple anything. So if you start with 10, that's going to be 30. But if you divide it to the other side, it's still going to be 3. If you realize if I divide both sides by 1, I'm still gonna get 3. It doesn't matter where you start. It can be 2, and that was 6. You divide by 2 on both sides, it's still 3. And it's still natural log of 3, regardless what your starting value is. So when I say triple, double, it doesn't really matter. Half-life, it doesn't really matter. You can assume, I always assume t equal to 100. Usually, I think that's a good number. You can assume t equal to 1. Doesn't hurt you. That's the nice thing about natural log. You'll end up to be exactly the same. Yeah. Next question. Nobody have a question about how to solve equations? $39? Yeah, this is actually easy. 38 is a better question. But this one's actually log 4. This is adding, so it'll be x times x plus 1 equal to log 4 of x plus 2. Now, you can get rid of log 4 both at the same time, but it's supposed to be 4 to the log 4 of x times x plus 1. This is what actually happened because they are inverse to each other. And that's how they subdivide. Now, some people thought it just divide both sides by log 4. It's not mathematically correct, but it's fine. And now we just have to solve this equation. X squared plus x equal to x plus 2. So it'll be x squared minus 2. X equal to square root 2 plus minus. But of course, minus is not right. So it's going to be plus 2. Yeah. It does. I will use natural log. I always use natural log because the answer is going to be exactly the same. But you just have to be consistent. Oh, one more thing on the test. It's called changing base. It's really easy. So if you log 2 of 5, how do I rewrite this?
Log 5 over log 2.
Log 5 of log 2. Or natural log of this. You're more welcome to come after school. Rob, are you ready for the test?
Yeah, I'm going after school.
Wow.
Wow.
We have a date.
Thank you.
You put your calculator in your book bag to what?
I was doing it on demo. I was doing the graphic questions mostly. Like, I was skipping around. But I'm doing the ones that I missed tonight.
Tonight? How about after school?
I can't. I think my stupid brother from the airport. Literally, his flight isn't it 2? Like, I can't stay. I can stay for 5 minutes.
Said that this is right too, and I plugged it in my calculator and it did go right too. But I thought that if it's connected to the X, you do the opposite. Like,
Ow! Son of a.
Yeah, I got an A.
like why is it the
93
same
as
right
well.
from here, but like here it would be right.
Problem is like this. You're supposed to put a parenthesis here,
Mm-hmm.
and you're supposed to take out a negative sign. And then it'll be x minus 2, but negative take account to reflection across x, the y-axis. Now, if you factor out a negative, there's a parenthesis of x minus 2. That's moving to right after. So that is too hard to explain. So I won't test something like that, but that's technically what happened.
Thank you.
I'm a Grinch. I'm a Grinch.
Oh, you look like an onion head. Like with the hair going straight up?
That's what the Irby drew me like with like things like spiking up like this.
I'm getting my calculator in like a day or 2, so I was not able to. I'm so sorry.
Not able to what? You could use decimal.
Yeah, I did that one for some of it. But then I was like, oh, I can't individually input each.
So we're talking about spirit of giving, right? Yesterday, I'm driving by I-4. I get out of exit.
89.
and I saw this homeless guy, right? Homeless guy, right? Now think about it. Does he have an opportunity to buy gift for other people? No. But he's the most giving person I ever seen.
He's probably on ketamine or something.
No, he buy a bread that in like convenience store, and he's eating it. And all of a sudden, I saw like I was driving down on the things, and on a turnpike, and I-4, well, not I-4, for 4A, whatever. So I was driving down, and he was there, right? And he was putting the bread on the floor so the pigeon can come eat. So the pigeon is over him. Like, at least like there was like, no kidding, was a 30 pigeon right there, right next to him. So when I was thinking like, it's not like, it's like her, like me, AirPod Max. No, that's not. Those are BS. Those are bullshit. Those are like a spoiled rotten kid. Yeah, no.
Craigslist car. You don't have to get mad.
No. She was yelling at me by I'm a Grinch. I don't believe in Christmas. Okay, so there are people not able to give. They're not able to give those. So here's my resolution. If you have kids, and I wish I can do that, I have time to do that. You want to teach them the idea about giving? Fine. You don't need to give them Christmas gift. You bring them to the homeless shelter, and you bring food to the homeless people. That is giving. Gifting is capitalism. You can give anytime. You can give anytime, any moment, anything. You don't need to wait till Christmas to give your kids an AirPod Max or whatever. No, it doesn't need that shit. You don't need it. No, I don't hate Christmas as a spirit, but I hate that the idea you have to give somebody something that is stupid. That is absolutely ridiculous nonsense, wasting all the wrapping paper in the world. It doesn't need to be that way. Huh? No, I'm not saying I will. I won't. And but I'm just saying Christmas is a stupid holiday. It's made by capitalism. It's not made by the idea of giving. It has nothing to do with that.
But for some people,
for some people, yes. Like for you, you say, okay, yeah, that's you make something you give to somebody. That's perfectly okay. I think that's okay. But for us giving somebody just because this is Christmas, I have to give the gift to this person. Bullshit.
while you're giving your kids like something, you know, like if they ask you, like you'll give it to them.
Yeah, of course. If they want a Mario game, I'll be there. Let's get it. We don't have to wait till Christmas.
Well,
That's stupid.
that's fine. Like,
That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid.
It's not even Christmas, right? It's just their own way of
Yeah,
celebrating
you can
with
be
family.
you can be Hanukkah, you can be Christmas, you can be whatever.
So
It
if
doesn't
people
have
are
to be.
celebrating their family, for some
Look,
people,
they are Muslim people in this country is giving people about Christmas, and I think that's stupid because you don't even believe in Christmas. But you are become a brainwashed by the capitalism of you have to give somebody something. That's BS. That's all Macy's fault.
it's not Mason's fault. I'll agree it's someone's fault.
Why are you
It's not
protesting
Mason's
Macy's?
100 years ago, do you see people gifting? No, like buy like Christmas gift and all like go shopping out and 100 years ago? Probably not. Probably not. 200 years ago. Let's go 200 years ago.
Wait, actually, 100 years ago, we were the Virgin
depression, so probably not.
About 200 years ago, 500 years ago.
They just spend time with their family.
No, you think about 500 years ago. Do you think like people's gonna go, oh, let's go to the mall shopping and then let's go buy gifts? I mean, and Christmas, Jesus Christ being alive for so long. How long? You think about it. It's capitalism. You guys are brainwashed by the capitalism. You had to buy something to give somebody.
So it's because you're because of your religion.
No, it has nothing to do with my religion. It's just, I just think about Christmas as a stupid holiday. If you want to give the people who are homeless, give the people who are needed help, give the people who are in Africa or whatever country, Ukraine or whatever, they are in the war. Yeah, that's good. That you should help those people. But giving to somebody who already have a car, who already have a thing, who doesn't need an AirPod Max, whatever.
Wait, why are you even talking about the AirPod Maxes? Like, why?
Because I was telling her to get something useful. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get AirPod Max. They are so nice, so comfortable.
Yes, they are. They're way too expensive though. Like, I don't think it's worth it.
Exactly.
But I didn't pay for it, Mr. Gay.
Exactly. You make your own shit. You make your own money and you pay for your own damn thing. Your parents just spoil and rotten you.
God.
People should not be giving.
Oh,
Yes.
No, you should give your kids whatever they ask for.
No,
like,
you have
to a
to give
certain
them
extent.
whatever they ask.
No, but to a certain extent, right?
I will ask anything if I were your kid.
You can't.
I'll be like, give me a Lamborghini.
You only give your kid what they ask for, but like to a certain extent. Like, don't overdo it.
It's not shit. They should not. You give them whatever they need. They're necessary. Yeah, okay. You need a game. Okay. You need 20 games. No.
Games.
it's not about asking.
Okay. You don't need part of it.
I hate a part of it. I mean, Christmas, I have no problem with
She's like,
Christmas.
you say, I hate her. That's a lot. That's a lot of things that you're covering when you just say.
We're talking about give.
So I
Okay,
hate
you
it.
hate gifting.
Yes, the idea of gifting. You have to give somebody at Christmas.
No,
That
you don't
is
have to do
absolutely
anything.
stupid.
You don't have to.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't
Nobody's making
but,
you do
but
anything.
the capitalism that you're brainwashing you to like, you have to buy something.
No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's making you do anything.
Let's talk about.
Like, hey, we don't have to buy you a gift. But some students still gonna give you like chocolate.
I don't have a problem with that. I need a marker. I don't need it at Christmas. I need it every day. I need it every day. I only have one marker. I don't need to wait till Christmas to give me a marker. You'd be nice. Just say, hey, this year is nice. I always say after school, I always help us. Yeah, bring a like a marker because that's something he needs. That's something he wants. There's a difference between want and need. Want is EPA Max. Need is just get a earphone. It's good enough.
So you're like,
Oh my God.
No, they are nice though. I agree, but why are you paying that much money?
Because their parents can't afford it. She's so rotten. I would never buy my kids an AirPod Max.
What do you buy them just normal airplanes?
I'll give him my earphone.
Like what kind of ears?
What's
Like no earphone, like $20. I can spend $20. That's fine. Not like $150. How much AirPod Max?
What if you get 500?
How much did you think they were? No, it's honestly probably more than that.
No,
I
no,
don't
it's 500.
Yeah, it's
My
like
heart
it's
is
like
bleeding.
550.
My heart's bleeding. My heart's bleeding for your parents. Stop being so spoiled.
Then you give me too right now.
I'm about to have a heart attack. Oh my God. $500 for that shit.
There have been better ones from whiskey, bro.
All right. What's on the tomorrow's test? you're not gonna have any calculator. I just want to get to introduce you calculator section. You gotta learn how to use calculator, and also asking you to get a calculator before Christmas. Ask for a calculator. You need calculator. You don't need an AirPod Max.
What if your kid asks you for a calculator for Christmas?
That's fine. You don't need to wait till Christmas. And you don't need to package it. You don't need a wrapping paper. Here's your calculator. And I'll buy used.
This year they're 5 days.
What do you call the
Oh my god. It's so comfortable. Spoiled, rotten bullshit.
I'll take your better than
All right. So you're gonna have tomorrow's test. I'm gonna show you the answer how to do this, and but I'm gonna go through any of those questions that you need help with. But I'm gonna start with talk about what's on tomorrow's test. So tomorrow's test, you are gonna have a Riemann sum for sure. Different kind of Riemann sum. You got, let's say, I can give you like,
Who screamed?
oh sorry, y equal to, I don't know, x squared plus 5 between 0 to 2. And I can ask you 8 intervals or 4 intervals. I probably ask you 4 intervals. Okay, so 4 interval, do you know how to do it with the right, left, trapezoid, and midpoints? Midpoint will be harder, right? Midpoint, I will ask you 2 intervals rather than 4 intervals. Okay, so I might ask you like, I don't know, 4 equal interval, sub-interval, and with the right, left, and right, left, trapezoid, and midpoint.
Midpoint should be 4 2 intervals, right?
Midpoint, I'll probably do 2 because I won't adjust interval to throw you off. And more likely people are going to screw up. And you have to understand over or under approximation on this. Midpoint is really hard to tell, are they over or under, but right, left, and trapezoid can be able to tell, are they over or under. In this case, the trapezoid is what? Over or under?
Over. Over. It's concave.
It's concave up because due to concavity. So I will give you a question that you had to pay attention to concavity, right? So I don't know, it could be any question. So I'm just saying x squared plus 5 could be one of them, right? Could be an example, but the equation I can change, right? That's fair, right? Second things, I probably give you a table and probably the equal table. This one you had to construct your own table, right? This one you had to construct your table. Says x, y, 0 is 5, half is, I don't know, 5 and 1/4, and 1 is gonna be like something 1, 3/2, and 2. And you had to use the correct value for left and right. Make sure you know left and right. Those are easy questions on the test. Okay, so the next one I probably give you a normal interval. Just says 1, 3, 5. I say it's, I don't know, 7 and 9 and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I can ask you any of those. The third question I'll ask you probably, right? Probably I will say, hey, if I give you an interval, and this is where I can trick you, is like 1. It looks like very much like previous question, but the interval are do you see the interval are not the same? Right? Sorry, this is a 15. I can ask you right, left, trapezoid. I cannot ask you which one. I cannot ask you in this case. Which thing I cannot ask you in this case? I can ask you right or left. I can ask you trapezoid, but I cannot ask you what? What? Midpoint. Why? Why can I ask you midpoint on unequal intervals? It's different, right? It's not in middle of something, right? Those points are not middle of something. So I can ask you this, but I can ask you same thing. So all those things I can ask you all those things except midpoints. Except midpoints. Oh, that's a good question. If it's a midpoint, right? If it's 4 intervals, then that'll be a little bit harder. But if it's 2 interval, I can use 1/2 and 3/2. Because if you have two interval, it would be 0 to 2. So each space is 1. But the problem is if you use 0, 1, and 2, they are not midpoint. The midpoint is going to be 1/2 and 3/2.
So it will be that.
So if I were you, I will go back and go over everything in this worksheet and just walk through it. Just make sure you don't make mistake. This one, it has answers. The question is gonna be like this in regular. This one doesn't have a function though. I will give you the one with a function. So the only things I'm missing on this one is a function, which is the other one does. The second one does. Yeah. Of course, trapezoid is one of the most important. Yes.
So you would get questions on that worksheet like 1, 2, and 5, right?
Yeah, but also we'll give you this worksheet where like this 1/x from 1 to 5 using right end or left end. I was something like this. So basically that's the question I will give you because I will give you a function and you guys have to figure it out. And you guys have to understand concavity. So this one has concavity. Appear to best met left, right. You know, this is a good worksheet to go to on left and right Riemann zone. Okay. One other question I will for sure ask you. Huh? I will for sure ask you. Are you guys okay here? Okay, I will for sure ask you is fundamental theorem calculus, but the idea of fundamental theorem calculus. We'll go through more next year. We'll kind of give you the actual FRQ, what the AP exam will look like. But this is one of the good questions I always ask. This is a question that you don't have practice of, but I want you to figure out. So if I had something like this, but actually I'm gonna do something like, okay, I'm gonna do something like this. So I'm gonna say this is f prime of x. Okay, and how do I find out f of 4? And this question is it's a little bit harder. I want you guys to try it. How do I find out f of 4? Yes.
So you figure out what the slope is. So the slope is -3/4, and you have x, right? So I think that you would plug in 4 into the x, and then you do 4 times -3/4, which is -3.
I don't think so. Wait, I don't understand what you mean.
You want me to write on the board?
Nathan?
You can make an equation with that. Then with the equation, then you do the integral, and then you
What equation?
use the rise over one. So in this case, it'd be.
Think simpler.
Thank you.
Think even easier. No. That's what everybody's thinking.
You can't just make it negative 346.
You can. That's take too long.
Take too long.
What?
Is this
Wait,
air-
the
is
slope
this
is just
area?
F prime x, right?
Well, Lyndon's going somewhere with that. What are you saying?
Area within the triangle.
Something to do with that. Oh, I need one more piece of information. Sorry. That says f4 is equal to 10, and what is f of 0? Sorry, I'll ask that. Sorry. So you don't need to figure out equation of lines. You just think about this, and it's really simple ideas. Okay, so it's a fundamental theorem of calculus. Between 0 to 4. Why? Because we have a 4, we have a 0 is giving, right? Of f prime of x is equal to what? We already know this. It's a simple idea. What's integration of f prime of x? F of x between 4 to 0. That's equal to f of 4 minus f of 0, right? But how about the other side? That's 6, right? How do you know 6?
The integral is the area.
Integral is the area, right? So it'd be 6 equal to 10 minus f of 0. So f of 0 is equal to what? 4.
But how do you get 6?
Integration. No, don't say count. You find the area under the curve. 3 times 4 divided by 10. Don't say count.
You said integral is equal to
Count is fair.
Yeah, we've been learning for this long.
I thought there's definite.
Yeah, but we have definite because we have boundaries.
How are we able to change f of x?
That's just the integral. This is how the integral is supposed to look. If you integral f prime of x, it's gonna give you f of x, and then there's upper bound subtract lower bound. That's what you do in integral. But the problem is this part is 6. Now, if you figure out the equation of a line and take an integral of that, it's gonna get exact same value, but just wait longer, and you don't want to do that.
So, okay.
And that's how AP exam will ask you. Okay, so this one may be something different, but most of the people will figure out equation of a line and take integration of equation of a line, but you take too long when you're doing that because that's a lot of calculation. This just area under the curve. So Lyndon's on the right track.
I mean, like, you were kind of like missing a piece of information. So,
Yeah, that's my fault.
okay.
I didn't know you could relate that to area.
Definite integral is the area under the curve. That's what we're learning for so long. Remember, we have last test. All the questions on the last test will be on this test.
Like basic.
If you got screwed up on the last test, you better go check out what you did wrong. Those of you guys that got like what, 57?
You can just say my name.
No, it was kind of funny because if I combine your score and Rajat's score, it would be 100 something.
I know, right?
Siri, isn't this question like in algebra 2?
This question is in calculus, not algebra 2. How is it algebra 2? There's no integrations, simples. Okay, so last test, you have a graph, right? And I ask you from where to where. You will see those again. Do you go back and look at those?
Wait, like MBT or is that like
Look at your last test. Get your last test out.
I just don't like
And you still screw up, Lyndon.
I I got the whole back page right.
Oh, you got a half
I
half.
got the whole back page right.
You know how special the back page is? Like, check every sign, check all the numbers. I can't get the easy thing.
Look at your last test. Every single question there is accountable here.
I was gonna say,
Now, U substitution. You have to know U sub.
You want us to know where we have to make U X and U also, right?
You have to you have to go to U roll.
What'd you say? You rolled?
You have to change your boundaries. I swear. This will be a perfect question because this question, it has everything. Has a back sub, has U sub, has changing the boundary, has splitting, has all that information. If you do this question, U substitution, you're in a good shape. But the only things I will require you to do, change the damn boundary. And do it in terms of U. Can you do this question?
oh, is it like these things? Yeah, it requires everything. That's why you like it.
It requires everything.
Yeah, I like it. And that's a 5, right?
Yeah.
It does look like it's too. And
I want to understand the graph. I'm just asking about relating area to
right now.
equation. 'Cause I get the-
Look, this means area from 0 to 4 because f prime x, this is f prime x graph. Definite, no. Definite integral is the area under the curve. This curve, the subject is f prime of x. So if you do an integration between 0 to 4 on f prime of x, that's going to be area under the curve between 0 to 4. So that's how you get 6. This just another notation of integral. If you integrate f prime of x, it's going to be f of x. It's changing to f of 4 minus f of 0. That's a definite integral. You have to do that here. You have to do that here. Once you take an integral, you have to plug in the upper bound, subtract the lower bound. You'll find the area under the curve between here to here, from 1 to 5. You got it?
What do you not do?
Oh, you want to do the question?
What do you not do? F of this minus f of
You always have to do, you've been doing that since day one. You've been doing that since definite integrals.
Can
Yes.
you tell us when is a better time to use U sub over doing a regular integral? Like, okay.
Okay, this is a normal integral,
Yes.
like x cubed over 3. But there is no definite bound. So that's called, that's just integral. That's called indefinite integral. You have a plus c, right?
Yeah, but that can still have or U sub can still have a plus C if it's indefinite.
Well, if I have a boundary, then it's not. If it's done, yeah, you can still have plus c. Yeah, technically you're not wrong. You cannot confuse. Depend on the question. Look at your old tests. Do you have your old tests? The
Yeah.
test that you fail. Go back to make sure you understand everything.
Okay.
And then you have U substitutions, and then you have Riemann sum, and you have some speeds. Tomorrow you're gonna get 67. I'll give you a 10-point increase. 54.
Don't give me extra points. He said give them to him later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to cash Lucas' check first. I don't know if it's gonna go through.
Because you crumbled it. It looks like a piece of tissue.
Kind of. I don't know if I have it. Let me check.
You're lucky you did okay with your SAT tutoring.
Huh?
You're lucky you did okay with your SAT tutoring.
I did fine. Oh, it's still here.
I'll take
Is that gonna go through?
Yeah, it'll go through. Just do it mobile. Do mobile deposit.
Wait, that's your parents' money.
My money.
It says Carl Bong,
Yeah.
Mendy Bong.
I paid my parents. But I don't exactly have a check, but I'm gonna add $50 in cash. If they know you actually do it.
I'm Chinese. We only take cash only.
Let's take cash on me.
We don't like Uncle Sam.
You're wrong, Kevin.
Dude, it's just
The answer is the fraction. Numerator plus denominator is 19.
momento.
16 over 3.
What?
16 over 3.
What's that thing, guys? And then
You guys got it or no?
almost like that.
What took you so long?
Ciencia.
No me importa.
1, 2, 3. Oh, then I gotta plug it in. Okay, shit.
I have a feeling you guys are gonna fail tomorrow's test too.
You mean so like, okay.
I would have been done right now.
Okay. What's your plan? What'd you get, Mr.
16 over 3.
It's for sure 3 cubic, get 27 over 3 9 times 2. Ooh. Hey, well, it's make it bigger, no? Why not 18? Why not? No, no, no. You get 9, get 27 over 3 is 9 times 2, 18 plus 2. 24 minus.
Did you back from
I did.
It's 16 over 3. Does not make sense. I already took out the 1 half. Does not make sense.
You're kind of weak.
So I will. No, I didn't. Change that. U D. What is it? D over 2 is 29.
Lucas, get a marker, work it out.
Alright, no, I gotta give me a second. Don't ever relax.
Get a marker, go to the board, work it out. You're so lazy recently.
Today's a bad day, Mr.
Why?
Thank you later.
this?
Huh?
Is it just
U substitution? Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of U substitution.
If you come here, it's
I'm just asking if there's any more.
I mean, I can give you something different. I can give you a definite integral one or finding equation one. So I can give you something like, say, dy dx is equal to x square root 9 minus x squared. And I have a 0, comma negative 4. I want to find original functions. You know how to do that? Okay. Go ahead and do it. Gilly, what are you doing? You're just zoning out. Huh?
Take the integral and then plug in.
It's 16/3 this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he get it?
You have for sure have this. This is another one that you're for sure gonna have. Is sine of x
There you go. Brandon.
of x squared natural log of t squared plus 1 dt d to the dx. You're for sure gonna have this one.
How do you take natural log of 3?
You don't. Go look at your last test. It's on your last test. You guys don't go back and make sure like to look at what kind of mistake you make before, and you're gonna make same exact mistake the following test, and you guys don't go back and really understand it.
Is that natural law? Is that natural law?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't did that.
Dude, look at the D1 please.
Second fundamental thingy.
It's on your last test, Kevin.
Natural law?
It doesn't matter what a function is. Look at the boundaries, please.
Mm.
You're gonna see this question again. You guys just learn a test and then just forget it. You guys have to go back and make sure you understand everything about that test. It's not a point of just take a test and take an L and then say move on with it. No, you take an L and you learn from your L. Most of you guys take an L, just say, oh well, I'll just try to make up next time. No. Your learning start with the L, not start with the W. You fail at something, that's when you start learning.
For that one, like, for that one, you can't like do much with it, can you?
Huh?
Can't do much with it, can you? Like once you get there,
Probably not much.
you just make that up.
Yeah.
No, because like you can't factor out a natural log, right?
It's gonna be natural log of sine square of x plus 1 times cosine of x minus natural log of x to the 4 plus 1 times 2x.
But you can't like factor out the natural log out of both of them. I don't know how natural logs work.
No, you do some weird shit. You just break all kind of math there.
No, I've never.
So the problem with you, like you say you want to learn something, like I say, you don't even know enough algebra 2 yet. You will not pass.
Is natural algebra 2?
Yes.
Michelle actually never went with it.
Because you don't have
Oh
me.
wait, isn't like
Okay.
it's log of
If
2,
you
right?
have natural log of x plus natural log of y, it does not make natural log of x plus y. That's wrong.
Isn't it?
This is wrong. This is not correct. This is just not math. You are stupid. That's why you say you cannot worry about all the things before. You gotta worry about the things that you're supposed to know. You're not gonna say I need to know all the things. You need to know all the things, basic foundations. Yesterday you were talking on the way out, says I need to know everything. No, I don't need to know topography or whatever those things. You need to know some basics before you get there. Those are basic things that you cannot miss.
Which is
You guys always try to overlook the situation. Like Lucas was doing the integration by parts the other day. We are laughing at you because there's no point for you to learn that. You need to worry about now. You can worry about your things that is in front of you, but not worry about the stuff in the future of you. You cannot worry about the things that's gonna happen later, or for you matter. It doesn't even matter for you.
You have to plug in u plus 1 for your over, well, it's u plus 1 is 2, and then I just factored out that 2 to get the 1. That's what you got. Did you not? Get x. Because then if you kept it x, it's not x.
Right? Like the natural log of e is 1.
Okay, yeah, you did that.
Natural log of e is 1.
Did you get? Well, I haven't taken the input yet, but did you get u plus e? And then make it 1/2 power, and then you then could you feel it correct?
Failure reconstruction.
I just
Construction failure.
yeah.
Nothing you want to see. All you do is
Well, you once
originally
you have that, you just simplify it. Like, kind of like
later on, see if you can get your ass kicked. Yeah, just a property. Failure reconstruction.
Yeah.
so that applies.
You already
Then I have to put it
so all you're gonna do
then I just plugged in 1 and 9 using that like that. And that's and if you do all that, I think you just missed fun.
only thing I do is
Because this, if you get to here, then you can take it. That's this is just algebra.
Yeah. It's pretty like sometimes if we do one of those, are you gonna like make it so we like simplify it and like make it more
Possible I can write a equation that you might be able to simplify, but if you not simplify, you're going to get most of the points. If you get to that part, let's say if I change it to 1 minus t squared, then you're probably changing 1 minus sine square of x to cosine square of x. That's the only thing. Cosine square of x. Well, then you can put 2 natural log of cosine of x. Oh, that's cool.
that's a property?
Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't know enough algebra 2 yet. So you're walking out, you said,
Never
I need to understand all the things. You know, you don't need to understand. You need to understand all the high school curriculum first. And you guys are worried about the things that so much ahead. You worry about what's one in front of you.
What did you say about
Huh?
did you say something about
Yeah.
what was
Oh, I'm just saying natural log of x plus natural log of y does not equal to natural log of x plus y. They are not equal to. Natural log of x plus natural log of y is natural log of x over y.
I have a question about homework. So the time, like when it reaches the highest point, do you have to find like the position equation and the velocity equation?
What?
Because like it's asking for the position.
So at t equal the particles at 0, find out accelerations, take a derivative, plug in that. The speed increase or decreasing, compare the a of t and v of t. And find the time when particle reach the highest point. You basically look at the graph. You look at the graph. This is your highest point. It's like the furthest right.
Velocity equals 0.
No, because this one is going up, and this part is going down. So this when the velocity equal to 0. Yes, when velocity equal to 0 in this case, but not this way though. This one is gonna be minimum. This one is the point that you're looking for. When they cross the x-axis from positive to negative.
property. So like an exponent in the inside can be changed to the outside. What was it you said with this natural log of cosine squared?
Ln of cosine square of x, that's ln of cosine of x squared. So there was a property that says ln of x to the y is equal to y ln of x, because the power can be put in front. So it'll be 2 ln of cosine of x.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Ln cosine squared x and to that. Okay.
one more thing you missed? What?
Riemann sum. I will write. I think I will write a review sheet of what happened because it seems like you guys are completely lost of what's gonna be on the test.
Comment.
Bye.
Learning anything new.
No.
Wait, so will we be using calculators or no? Just,
No.
no.
I think that's like the.
I was just wondering on my calculator.
I was graduating and I was like, no, we didn't.
Graphing calculator like equations is negative, like function is negative. How do you graph the negative? Yeah, you do. It just says like I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like the normal video feed. Like one of the weird ones of the menu. They give me first menu. Oh, let me go to. Oh, how do I get rid of the
Yeah.
I think if you go to analyze graphs, Bro, make it a list.
And then you just tap wherever you want.
I think so.
Oh, wait, there's one.
All right, so shh.
Oh, you just plug in the. You know,
You are the main part of the test is going to be a lot to deal with the use substitution. Okay, so let me put this again. A lot of you guys don't understand that you fail a test. For example, your last test that you fail, you did not go back and look at what's wrong with it. And guess what? If you fail that test, I'm gonna put those questions on it. One thing you have to understand in terms of life is this. We take L all the time. But the key thing is you learn from your L. And the problem is you don't. If you fail the last test, you should go back and look at what's wrong with your last test. Because last test is the basic building block for this test. So instead of asking you integration of x, absolute value x minus 1 to the dx, can I change the question? Between like say 5 to -2 or whatever, right? I can ask you that question, or I can ask you this. I say I have velocity function is equal to absolute value x minus 1. I want to find the total distance between 0 to 10. Does that mean exact same thing? Do you see what I'm saying or no? Like just say for the last test, right? The last test is between 0 to 1 of x minus 2 or 0 to 4 dx. 0 to 4 dx like this, right? Last test, I can ask this, right? This test, I can say velocity of t equal to x minus 2. I want to find the total distance at 0 to 4. It's at the same damn questions. But the problem is you don't go back to understand your last test. You'll never have a chance at this test. And I'm just trying to proving a point. Most of you guys take an L on the test, you move on, and you're not learning any shit. The learning start at the L. If you're taking the win, you'll never learn anything. If you win at something, you never learn something from it. You ask Isabel, when you win a game, do you learn anything from the winning a game? You learn the most when you're losing a game. But you guys don't go back and learning what you make mistake on the last test. Because last test is a building block for this test. I'm going to write a question where the last test is matter to this test. And you guys don't get it. Last period, I asked some kids some question from the last test. They're like, what is this? Completely don't know. Guess what? You're going to see it on the test again. You're going to see all those things on the test again. If you got a 20, if you got a 30, you got a 40 on the last test, go back. Make sure you understand every detailed things. Because I can ask you every detailed things. So instead of last test, I say dy dx is equal to 2x squared and 0 to the 4, find original function. I'm going to ask you this one now. dy dx equal to x square root 9 minus x squared, and I have a point 0, comma, -4. And I say, hey, what is y? In this case, I have to do use substitution. I have to take integral. I have to find them c's. Last test you messed up, this test you're going to mess up. Because last test doesn't have a use substitution. This test has a higher complexity. You guys need to understand how to study. The problem is you don't know how to study. Can I ask you a question about fundamental theorem of calculus? Yes, I can ask you. This time I'm going to ask you like this. Yes, this is going to show up again. I can ask you like this. This gonna show up. Do you remember what is this? Ria look at me like I have never seen this in my life. You have, but it's on your last test, and then you forget about it. It doesn't matter what a function is. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Jamie knows what he's doing. Jamie can tell me the answer in 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes, Jamie. This is on your test. But it's on the last test. But it's on your test again. It doesn't matter what a function is. It's fundamental theorem calculus part 2. It doesn't matter what a function is. That function could be arctan, arcsecant. It could have e to the x, e to the arcsecant of x, natural log arcsecant of x. It doesn't really matter what a function is. You remember that first step. The first step is what? Not use substitution. Substitute what? No.
Oh, this is.
Yes. And you look at me like you don't know anything about that happening because you did well on that test and you didn't go back to look at it. How do you be a better student? You be a better student by going back, review everything. Even you understand everything. Even you miss 1 point. You learn from that 1 point. You guys know Nick Saban, right? Who's Nick Saban? A coach for Alabama. If they're winning 48-3, they'll ask in press conference. It's like, you know, you did really well today. What did, you know, and you say, no, we make that one mistake. We cannot, well, special teams suck. We lost a fumble in this case. Even though we win 48-3, we still have a lot to learn from. You guys don't learn the ideas. The ideas you're learning on everything, even the smallest mistake. The greatest player in the world, the greatest football coach in the world, the greatest soccer player in the world, they all the same thing. They even can learn when they win because they will pick on they have a higher standard of themselves. Yes, Sean, it's G of T. Good job. G of T is equal to what?
The 1 minus t squared.
No. ln of 1 minus t squared. I don't give a shit what a function is. Because I'm taking integral, I'm not taking derivative. It's going to go back the same shit.
Capital G, capital G, X. Let me see. And then capital G. Of squared. And then keep the D and the X.
Don't memorize it. Understand what's going on. Understand what is going on. You not memorize nothing. Jimmy, you got it? Here, show me. You better prove me that I'm right. If you're wrong, then I'm gonna throw the iPad back at you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you guys don't go back and look at old tests. You can just say, oh, I'm just worried about a new test. Ria, that's not how to learn math. Understand what is going on. If you understand it, you go a long way. If you don't understand, you're gonna get a 4. Even though you get an A in the here. You're gonna get a 4 or 3. I've seen people who got A on the test, you still get 3 and 4. As people don't get an A on the test and they get a 5. Why? They understand it. They understand. They're not memorizing anything. Okay.
I just like. One minus sine squared is gonna be. So then you do ln. Or no, well, I should look down. Don't look over. Sine back in the original.
You don't need to do derivative of natural log. That's the beautiful part about this question.
ln cosine squared is sine. ln 1 is
Okay, so here you forgot your b over dx. So this one you do f of big F of b minus big F of x, and then distribute the b of t over dx. Remember that?
Yes.
So
Until here was right. I just went distributed.
you no, right here you integrated it.
I was supposed to take derivative.
How about you guys?
Yeah, you integrated the inside.
But it would be derivative. It would be a sine of x times sine of x.
The derivative of sine x.
So just so
So
you.
it would be g sine x cosine minus g x squared 2x.
Oh, so just the last one. I don't know why it's a good.
Wait, but because it's t squared, don't you have to put x squared squared?
I'm gonna tell you that you can ask Jared how many times I put this question on the test.
Yeah.
Right, Jared?
Yep. Yeah, a few times.
A few times.
You can't simplify this thing.
Guess what? I have a teacher from Cypress Creek, my old teacher, and I teach in my old school. Sent me a message yesterday. Say, how do I do this?
So understand because this is in the thing, so you can
Yeah, so you can simplify the inside.
yeah, but like I don't think you can simplify it.
Yeah, that's what I was making sure.
Are you allowed to distribute the cosine?
Sure.
Like down here, are you allowed to make a cosine cube?
Get closer.
You're not allowed, right? You're not.
Minus ln 1 minus
Oh my
2x.
No. Okay, so
I know you're not allowed to, because why would you?
because that's argument.
Yeah.
You cannot distribute into argument. It's like distribute x equals square root x minus 1. Distribute inside. And the argument in that particular case, it will work. It can distribute inside is going to be distributed as x squared. But in this case, it's not able to. Natural log of argument or sine of argument is untouchable. Just like yesterday, you did sine of pi t, right? You take a derivative, the pi cosine of pi t. Can you distribute pi inside of pi t? No, because they're inside the argument. You're not touchable.
Oh, that's the fourth.
But what you can do is natural log cosine of x squared. That's 2 can bring it to the front. It's called a property of natural log,
Would it be time?
and which is Ollie did not teach very well.
Oh,
What? It's going over whatever I finished grading. So I don't know. I could possibly have like few assembly lines to finish grading all this. Anthony, Kelly, I'll just pay them. Have them graded ascending.
Anthony walks in the first grade like a zombie last night.
Why?
I think he's getting overworked with you.
I didn't work him. I didn't ask him to grade anything.
I was joking.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about what's on the test.
GMX is when you have to write it in front of the
Okay, what else is on the test? Riemann sum. Riemann sum, I can give you, I'll just name a function. So this one, y equal to x squared plus 3. I mean, and I'm going to say it's 0 to 2. Somebody really want to join my class. Okay. I can do 0 to 2, and I ask you Riemann sum. I can ask you how many things. I can say A. I can say trapezoid. I can say right in approximation, right Riemann sum with 4 equal subinterval. I can ask you that. Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to do left? Do you know how to do a midpoint with 2 equal subintervals? Can you do trapezoid with 2 equal subinterval? Do you know how to do that? This is on your homework the day before. 2 days before, right? Riemann sum, I can ask you, are they over or underestimate on this question? On this case, you can ask you over or underestimate, and you gotta tell me why. Why? Right Riemann sum is over or under? Why? It's increasing. Good job. Is right Riemann sum over or under? Under. Because it's increasing as well. Because if it's increasing on your leftmost, it's going to be this. Now, midpoint is not going to be very, very accurately, but trapezoid. Trapezoid is over or under? Why? Concave up, thank you. It's over because concave up. You got to give me a justification. So tomorrow I'll ask you every detail that you can think of on the Riemann sum. I can give you a table. So this one you had to build your own table, right? The only thing that you had to build your table. What your table is going to look like. You have to know is b minus a over n for the width. Right? Do you guys know that? You have to do b minus a over n to find out each width, because I can give you, like I say, for something I can give you ask exact same thing. I can ask you x and y. I can say 0 is 15. I can say 20 is 20. I can say 40 is 18. I can say 60 is 15. I can say 80 is 22. I can say 100 is equal to, I don't know, whatever, 18. Well, actually, I already used that number already, 12. And I can say 120 is equal to 31, something like that. Okay, I can say I want 6 intervals, or I want to say 3 midpoints. I can use 3 midpoints. So I can ask you what? I'm going to shorthand this, okay? You guys going to figure out. A, B, C, D, I can say right with how many intervals? 6. Left with 3. Now, that's kind of tricky. Left with 3. Or midpoint with 3. Or trapezoid with 3. I can ask you like this. Is that okay? Right Riemann sum, left Riemann sum. Okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter what a number I just made up. It doesn't really, I don't give a shit about what that number is, but you guys have to knowing what to add, what to subtract. The next question I can ask you same thing, but this interval is gonna be very popular on AP exam. Why? Because I can give you not equal interval. Do you see that? I can give you like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever that is, right? I can ask you trapezoid. I can ask you left, right, but I cannot ask you what? Midpoint, I cannot ask you. So those are the Riemann sum question I can ask you. Left, right, and trapezoid. Now, trapezoid is going to be different width each time. Rectangle is going to be different width each time. You had to take account into the width, right? This is a 4, this is 3, this is 2, this is 4. Everything is different. So you had to count each individual one differently. The best way is draw a dot with a label of output, and you can figure out what this point is, and you can figure out the difference. Now, I already showed you how to do that. So you are gonna for sure get a lot of Riemann sum. You're for sure gonna get a lot of U substitution questions. Now, I can ask you applications, right? On the last test, I really like this one, right? I really like this one on the last test. Now this test, I can say that it's a velocity function between 0 to 5. That will I will incorporate the application of velocity, acceleration, and derivative. On what? Yeah, but you're supposed to know that. That's on your last test. Like, I don't understand, like, you guys need a... The people who are good, they look at it and say, oh, I don't understand the idea.
Like,
What?
what will you ask the addition? You said you were-
I will ask you, if a velocity is 2x minus 3, I will ask you, what's the total distance between 0 to 5? It's the same question, but it's an application. Yeah, you take an integral velocity, you got a total distance. But can I reword a question? Can I reword a question says, so instead of last question, give me your test. Anybody have last test?
Yeah, we didn't.
I give him back, it's all in the bag. Go back and look for it, it's yours. Let me borrow it. Okay, so instead of okay, instead of I said question number 4. I'm just gonna change the different question. I can say acceleration of t is equal to 4t minus 3. And I can say v of 2 is equal to 3. S of 1 is equal to 2. Find S of t. Is that the same question?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much the same, right? Oh, you got an extra one?
No, that's just mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give it back to him. It's the same question. It's the same question because I asked you from acceleration. What do? Take an integral, plug in initial condition. Take an integral, plug in 1. It's the same exact idea. I'm just changing the wording. That's it. But the same question. I can change all this question, anything, depending on my mood tonight. I only I run on inspirations. What kind of inspirational question I'm gonna have tonight?
Omar's gonna come knocking on the door. YP.
Okay, so I can write all those questions in terms of acceleration, velocity, position. I can ask you any of those questions. It's the same exact question. Now, if you don't go back and understand your question, you don't understand. Now, application, you have to understand the application. I will definitely ask you a speed question. So yesterday's worksheet number 8, not yesterday, the day before, the number 8 is a speed and there's a velocity. I will ask you to do the second derivative, compare acceleration, compare velocity. I will ask you that for sure because that's kinematic. All those questions are U substitution question on the board. I don't know if you remember how to do U substitution, but all those are U substitution question practice.
Some of them like had a graph and you have to figure out from the
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a question right now. This is a question, it's brand new. I just come up with it.
What are the questions on
Okay, so I have a question like this. This is the f prime of x, and I says f of 4 is equal to 10. Can you find out what f of 0 is? This question is always on AP exam, but the idea is very, very interesting.
The graph is f prime of x.
The graph is the f prime of x. And I'm telling you, you don't need to find the equation online. You definitely do not need to find the equation online. If you understand the idea, you know how to do this question. You don't need to find the equation online. Some people can find the equation online and you're gonna get some answer. And most of people are gonna approach it that way. But there was a way easier approach. F prime of x is that graph. F of 4 is equal to 10. F of 0 is what? And you don't need to find the equation online. You find the equation online, you're gonna get some answer. But it's gonna be spend 3 extra minutes that you don't have. Ria, you're on the right track.
And then did you like that with the
Double prime.
You're on the right track. Now you're understanding. As opposed to before, it's like, this is what I do next. This is what I do next. You gotta learn how to apply. You don't even have to lift pencil to do this question. That's how easy this question is. People who can see it, You apply the knowledge from before, and you apply it to whatever you're doing.
It's 6.
No. Anybody got an answer? Nobody got an answer?
No, wait, hold on.
Chauvin's cooking.
What's 6 times 8?
You're on the wrong track. You just burn your dish.
Overcooked.
Look at it. In order from here to get here, how do I get that? Integral, right? From 0 to 4, right? That means f of 4 minus f of 0. Fundamental theorem of calculus. Is that okay? And this is equal to 10. This is the x. This is a 6 because area under the curve. X equal to 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. So it's 4.
Wait.
How'd you get 6? Triangle, area of triangle. I can make the question anywhere wrong. I'm like it's like it just there's a lot of dimension I can make the question, but you have to understand the whole 9 yard. Whole 9 yard is understand the concept, how to apply it.
That makes like a lot of sense, honestly.
It's a beautiful question. It occurred 2 MCQ per year. 1 in calculus section, 1 non-calculus section. I can write this question in term calculator, but you guys don't know how to use calculator yet. So this question is a very, very easy. You don't need to find the equation of line at all. People say, I need to find the equation of line. No, you don't. It's hard to take an integral of negative 3 over 4x plus 3. Then just find the area under the curve. You're going to get same exact evaluation. Because you know definite integral is area under the curve. Okay, so Riemann sum. You are for sure going to have a speed comparison. Speed, velocity, so you had to do double derivative. And you had to compare. You had to compare on a number line test. I love that question just because you had to understand the math behind it. You have to know your chain rule, your derivative, easy derivatives. You know, some integral, some derivative, yeah, applying. I'm not going to ask you any calculator question because not everybody have a calculator yet. So all the worksheet from yesterday, we're going to come back and revisit after the break. And we will give you a calculator test by then. Hopefully by then you have calculator. But I want to give it to you so that way you say, I need to buy a calculator. How many of you guys still don't have calculator? Are you coming? Okay. Mario, do you need to borrow a calculator from library? You can. Or you can get from me too, if you want. All the area, the graph of asking you areas, might put some on that. I might ask the properties too, like says, remember that one question that you didn't do well last time? Between -2 to 10 of f of x is equal to 17, and therefore 5 to -2 of f of x dx is equal to 5. What is integration for 10 to 5? Do you guys know how to do this one? This is on the last test. I will ask you again because this is a property. Is it? I won't be so sure.
I'll use it's 22 because you flip the sign on. It's 22.
It's 22, are you sure?
You have to flip the equation to be -5. 17 minus
Chauvin might be on the right track. I'm not sure. I have to write it out. I cannot think like you guys. Let's see.
No, it's 10. Oh, it's 10. I thought it was
-22.
Oh, the end is also
I can play games. I can trap you. In all 6 different ways, I can trap you. You mess up on the last test, but you're gonna mess up again if you tell me 22. You write shit down. Yeah, Sean, you did it in your brain, but you got it wrong. Your brain's not good enough. Paper and pencil is more reliable. What are you yapping about? You got it wrong. You got it wrong. I'm gonna mark it wrong. It doesn't matter if you have 22 or negative 22. I'm only looking at the right answer. On your AP exam, you have to be very precise. I asked this question for last period. Nobody got a right answer. Question 7. Yep, they are back substitution, but the work is a lot. Well, all those are good questions. So all those are your substitution question. There's some trick integrations too. And I had to create 3 tests today. Shit. You had to change your boundary, please. If you do use substitution, you have to change your boundary. Not only you have to do back sub, you have to use change your boundaries. Your boundary not changed, then you are gonna screw up on tomorrow's test. But change your boundary, just do it in terms of you. Don't go back to X.
Are you gonna post this little bit?
I can post. No problem.
I think it's you know, right there. I can post it.
You want to post it?
Yeah, I can.
I don't have VPN though. Sure.
We're gonna put a graph on the first page and then I'll write that. it's an effect. Tomorrow, bro. I mean, yeah, tomorrow. I was like, I posted. I forgot to do the new boundaries review, so I had to restart. Yeah, I gotta remember to do that. I should plug in next time.
I might have added wrong. I'll do it.
That's how I think about it. Like, if you
Wait, so
and then
for, like, I did number 2 and I was doing it for midpoint, and I kept getting wrong.
other than that, you're
Like, I looked
Okay.
at
It says how many sub intervals. So it's a 5 equal intervals. So which point did you use?
I used the,
No, you're not supposed to use those.
I made a table.
No, you're supposed to use a table, use a calculator, and still, because the middle of the two intervals, so the interval is between 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So what's the middle of two?
Only like half.
Yeah. So you're supposed to use half, 1.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5, or 4.5. That's the on the test.
And then for the value, I have to like calculate it.
Yeah, you can use a calculator because you have a calculator now.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is use table, fucking 1.5, 2.5, 3.5.
So, but I just messed up on the width.
The width is fine. The width you use what?
I used. I don't know what
You use
I was
one,
saying.
but the problem is the height you use wrong. The height is supposed to use 1.5, 3.5, 5.5, 7.5, 8, 9.5. Because you're not supposed to use any output. Because the different X has different output.
What are we doing for the test?
That's tomorrow.
I mean, I meant to say, what are we doing today? Yo. Gap. Are we doing an evening day today or stay a few days?
Yes, like,
I'm adding.
yeah, hold on a second. I need to take care of something.
Yeah. You like, I'm not saying what the crap, and then we just sit down. Not there. And you can take it. It's not too. I mean, that's a philosophy we chase peace. I did the homework, but I forgot it. Yeah. No, who's this? Smurf Jared. Greek. Jack Jared. It's Jared. You can put this over there. Hey, what? Why is it rubbery? I don't know. It's like rubber. Interesting. I don't like touching rubber. You give it. I can't be quiet. No, you're not. Sure. Everyone will probably.
How am I gonna do this? Secret.
I'm in a hoodie, so I will. Where's the 19? I don't know. 20 minutes. I think
You guys have your old test, right? Okay. If I were you, I will go back and look at your old test, how to do every single questions. I'm gonna say this again. Your test, your learning start after you fail a test. That's what happened in this class. I'm gonna sincerely tell you this because this class, you fail a lot of tests. You will continuously gonna fail a lot of tests. But your test should be also, you want to try to get as much down as possible before the test and try to limit down as many mistakes as possible to maintain your grade. But your grade can also be fixed by end of the year too. So that means you have to learn to fix your test and understand the practice question. For example, I'm gonna write a questions just like this, exactly like this on the test. Look at your question 4 on your last test. What's the difference between this question and question 4 on your last test? Question 4.
The only difference is the name of the equations.
The name of the equation, I'm going to ask you A of t, which is the second derivative. V of 2 is the first derivative. S of t is the original functions. Well, guess what? They're the same questions. Now we have acceleration, velocity, and position in play.
Apply the last test applied.
You have to apply the last test. So if you don't learn the mistake from your last test, you're gonna be very easy to miss it. So